Good morning, students. Today's our topic is about uterine anomalies. Let's see the definition. The uterine anomalies are often associated with the abnormal development of Mullerian ducts even during the embryogenesis period itself. So this uterine anomaly starts from the embryogenesis period, usually due to the abnormal development of Mullerian ducts, and the symptoms can range from amenorrhea, infertility, recurrent pregnancy loss and pain. Always the normal functioning of uterus depend upon the nature and the type of defect. Moving to the classifications or Mullerian anomalies. The class 1 is Mullerian agenesis. So it is a congenital malformation characterized by failure of the Mullerian duct to develop, resulting in a missing uterus. Second is class 2, that is unicornate uterus with or without a rudimentary horn. So it is a rare genetic condition in which only one half of the uterus formed. A unicornate uterus is smaller than a typical uterus and has only one fallopian tube. Next is class 3, that is uterus dediphilus. So it is a malformation where there is a double uterus with two separate cervix and possibly double vagina may be present. Last one is the class 4, that is bicornuate uterus, where the uterus appears in a heart shape and it has two conjoined cavities where a typical normal uterus has only one cavity. Next is class 5, which is septate uterus, and the septum can be complete or incomplete. And the last one is class 6, the anomaly is mainly due to the diethyl treatment. When seeing the incidence, it varies between 3 to 4% and found in women when there is a recurrent miscarriages. Coming to the types, the first is arcuate uterus. In 18% of uterine anomalies, you can see the arcuate uterus. Here, the cornual part of the uterus remains separated. The fundus looks like a concave shape rather than convex, and this gives a heart-shaped appearance to the uterus. Next is uterus dediphilus. So it is 8%. The uterus, there will be double uterus, double cervix and double vagina. Next is uterus bicornis. The incidence rate is 26%. Varying degree of fusion of muscle walls of the two ducts will be present. Uterus bicornis is divided into different types in that the first is uterus bicornis bicollis, where two uterine cavity and double cervix are found with or without vaginal septum. Next type is the uterus bicornis unicollis. Here two uterine cavities and one cervix will be present. The horns may be equal or one may be rudimentary and have no communication with the completely developed horn. Coming to the septate uterus, it is 35% where two Mullerian ducts are fused together. There is persistence of septum in between. This septum can be a complete one or an incomplete one. And next one, the uterus unicollis, that is 10% case. The failure of development of one Mullerian duct, and in this case, there is only one fallopian tube will be present. The last one is DES-related abnormality. It is mainly due to the DES exposure, that is diethyl stilbestrol exposure during intrauterine life, and it causes various malformation during the period of embryogenesis. Moving to the clinical features, the mother will experience infertility, dysmenorrhea, that is painful intercourse, dysmenorrhea, painful menstruation, and even amenorrhea can be present in the case of septate uterus. The mother can also exhibit the problems like mid-trimester miscarriage, Rudimentary horn pregnancy. Sometimes the implantation can occur in the rudimentary horn. This also leads to the miscarriage. Corneal pregnancy leads to rupture. Cervical incompetence. Increased incidence of malpresentation, preterm labor, IUGR, IUD, prolonged labor, obstructed labor, retained placenta, and PPH. So these all complications can occur in a mother who having uterine anomaly. Next is the diagnosis. So when you can diagnose this uterine anomalies, first is during the internal examination. It reveals the septate, vagina and even the two cervix while doing the vaginal examination, and while perform the uterine curettage. It is very easy to identify this uterine anomaly. And next one is manual removal of placenta in case of retained placenta or PPH. And the last one is in cesarean section also it is easy to find out any kind of uterine anomaly. For exact diagnosis of these uterine anomalies, there are some more diagnostic procedures such as hysterography, hysteroscopy, laparoscopy, ultrasonography, and MRI. Moving to the treatment, there is no treatment that is generally effective in uterine anomalies which are usually congenital. Rudimentary horn should be excised in some cases, and there are some unification operations like abdominal metroplasty can be done by excising the septum. Then hysteroscopic metroplasty, which is used in the resection of septum, can also be done by laser. Let's see the advantages of this type of surgeries. There is high success rate, short hospital stay is needed for the mother, reduced post-operative morbidity, and there is more chance of vaginal delivery.